A Polish mayor has died a day after he was stabbed on stage in front of hundreds of stunned spectators at a charity event. Pawel Adamowicz was attacked by a 27-year-old named only as Stefan by Polish authorities, who reportedly shouted from the stage that he had been wrongly imprisoned when the mayor's former party was in power. Polish Justice Minister Zbigniew Ziobro said prosecutors are looking closely at the attacker's trial 5 years ago and whether he was handed a long enough sentence for a string of bank robberies. The ex-convict shouted that the attack was revenge against Civic Platform, which the 53-year-old politician belonged to for many years. Last night, stabbing suspect was convicted of involvement in the robberies and served the 5-year prison term in full. But Mr. Ziobro, who is also the country's chief prosecutor, said today the term was not very high given the crime and noted the man was refused parole 3 times. The Liberal mayor was attacked while attending the annual Great Orchestra of Christmas charity, a fundraiser where volunteers collect money for medical equipment in hospitals. The mayor was seen grabbing his belly and collapsing in front of the audience after he was attacked with the 5-inch knife. "I was jailed but innocent, Civic Platform tortured me. That's why Adamowicz just died," the attacker allegedly said as he brandished a 5.5-inch knife, 14.5 centimeters, knife. Television footage showed a man screaming Adamowicz is dead as he rushed the stage and stabbed the mayor. Speaking on the stage before he was arrested, the man accused the mayor's former party of putting him in prison and said he was tortured. "We couldn't win," Poland's health minister Lucas Umowski told reporters via private broadcaster TVN. Doctors operated on Adamowicz for 5 hours after the incident, Poland state news agency PAP said. Deputy Chief Prosecutor Krzysztof Sirok said today 5 prosecutors have, so far, questioned 20 witnesses and are preparing to question the 27-year-old suspect who lived in the city. Sirok said there are doubts as to the mental state of the attacker, who will undergo a psychiatric examination from 2 psychiatrists. Prosecutors are also looking into the level of security at Sunday's public event, which was the 27th annual festive collection for the popular charity. Mr. Ziobro, a prominent figure in the right-wing government, said he found no words to describe the evil of this terrible event. He said the thoughts and prayers of everyone were with Mr. Adamowicz's family and expressed hope that his life will be saved, but said everything is in the hands of Providence. Poland's president said he had initially been told there is hope for the mayor's survival after doctors reanimated his heart, but said his condition was very difficult. But a doctor earlier today said he lost a lot of blood and suffered oxygen deprivation in a knife attack. "Despite all our efforts, we failed to save him," Dr. Thomas Stefaniak, director of Gdańsk's University Hospital, said, quoted by the Polish PAP news agency. The mayor underwent 5 hours of surgery after suffering wounds to his heart and internal organs after the attack by an ex-convict who said it was political revenge on a party Adamowicz formerly belonged to. Share this article. Share. The killing of Mr. Adamowicz, a 6th-term mayor who often mingled freely with citizens of his city, sent Poland into shock. Politicians across the political spectrum in Poland condemned the stabbing, including members of the ruling Nationalist Law and Justice Party, PiS, such as Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki and Interior Minister Joachim Brzezinski. Adamowicz was known as an opponent of PiS. Jarosław Kaczynski, the country's ruling party leader, was quoted as saying in a tweet from the party spokeswoman, said, "I'm expressing great pain for the tragic death due to the criminal attack on Mayor Pawel Adamowicz. We express solidarity with his family." Polish President Andrzej Duda will meet with political party leaders today to organize a march against violence and hatred in the wake of the attack. Mr. Adamowicz stood out for his initiatives to encourage migrants to seek refuge in the northern Polish city and for his support of a protest campaign defending the rule of law in Poland against PiS efforts to increase its control over the judiciary and other bodies. Mr. Adamowicz was one of Poland's longest-serving mayors, holding his position in Gdansk since 1998. In the 2018 regional election, he won 65% of votes. Anti-violence rallies are being planned nationwide after Sunday's shock attack on Mayor Pawel Adamowicz. Lucas Umowski told local press, according to private broadcaster TVN, "We couldn't win." The attack triggered an outpouring of solidarity, with many people donating blood in Gdansk today, with Mr. Adamowicz receiving 15 liters, 32 pints, of blood and required more of the rare ORH type. A blood donor who identified himself only as Zygmunt said, "There is an atmosphere of aggression in Poland." Law and Justice Party spokeswoman Beata Mazurek said the attacks should be absolutely condemned by all, regardless of what side of the political spectrum they are on. She insisted politicians in Poland need greater responsibility for words, for deeds, because there is no shortage of madmen on both sides of the political scale. Ruling authorities also sent a government plane to transport the mayor's wife, who had been traveling from London back to Gdansk. But the government's critics said they believed that animosity voiced against Mr. Adamowicz by ruling party officials, sometimes carried on state television, as well as by extremists, played a role. Interior Minister Joachim Brzezinski last night called the stabbing an act of inexplicable barbarity. Mr. Adamowicz has been mayor of Gdansk, a port city on the Baltic coast, since 1998. He was part of the democratic opposition born in the city under the leadership of Lech Walesa during the 1980s, which helped to bring down the communist regime. As mayor, he is seen as a progressive voice and has supported LGBT rights and tolerance for minorities. He showed solidarity with the Jewish community when the city's synagogue had its windows broken last year, strongly denouncing the vandalism. He showed solidarity with the Jewish community when Gdansk's synagogue had its windows broken last year, strongly denouncing the vandalism. Mr. Adamowicz also advocated bringing wounded Syrian children to Gdansk for medical treatment, a plan blocked by the Law and Justice government. After he took that stand, a far-right group, the All Polish Youth, issued what they called a political death notice for Mr. Adamowicz. The last politically motivated attack in Poland was in 2010 in Lodz, when a man shouting that he wanted to kill Law and Justice Party leader Jarosław Kaczynski fatally shot an aide to one of the party's European Parliament politicians. An aide says the top European Union official Donald Tusk is traveling to his Polish birthplace of Gdansk after his friend, the city's mayor, was stabbed to death last night.